Okay, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to your favorite podcast. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Riffin with Riffin. Woo, 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 woo. Ladies and gentlemen, we back at it again. And I got one of my favorite guests coming back on again during these crazy quarantine times. So I'm really excited about it. And I just want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast, watching the podcast. And once again, if you want to see me game, watch me on Erik Griffin Gaming on Twitch and YouTube. And I really appreciate all the support for there. And continue to watch Riffin with Griffin. But coming to the podcast now, second time guest, one of my favorites. Give it up for the very funny, the talented Mr. Matt D'Elia. Woo, 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 woo. Yes, back on the podcast, Mr. Matt D'Elia, one of my favorite D'Elias from the whole D'Elia clan. The D'Elia clan is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. The favorite peoples, persons, whatever. I don't know how you say it. But anyway, Matt's on, and once again, I have a lot of backlogged episodes because I didn't know how long this was going to go, what was happening. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get guests, so I recorded a lot around the same time. So this was like early on, right around when Chris, his brother's special came out, and then Matt directed it, so I wanted to talk to him a little bit about that. And then Matt and I go into what we love to talk about. We like talking about movies and the industry, the movie industry, how movies are made. Like, he's a real interesting dude. I love talking to him. So I hope you enjoy this episode and give it up for the very, very funny, just the introspective, very smart, engaging dude. And I hope you enjoy the episode, Mr. Matt D'Elia. Enjoy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Mr. Second time on the program, my good buddy, Mr. Matt D'Elia.
Hell yeah.
So anyways, yeah, dude, so how you doing? I know, I think both of us are in the same boat. I think both of us, like, every time we've tried to do this a few times, man.
Yeah.
I just think it's like the anxiety and depression and just like the general state of like, what the fuck is going on? It's kind of getting to both of us, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally is. And a weird thing is that a few of the jobs that I was on before this happened, a few of most of them are still happening. So I still have like my gigs, my writing gigs, but there's no idea when they might be made. There's no there's no track that they're on anymore. So it's almost like, wait, when's the deadline? Who gives a fuck? This thing's never getting made anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, feels like that.
So it's like, especially when it started, it was hard to get into a groove because it was just like, none of this shit matters anymore. Almost, it was almost like this, like nihilism took over my mind, and I was like, fucking, who cares? But now it's sort of like, it's been going on long enough. I'm in sort of a groove about it. But I have that. I feel like you, my brother, like real deal comedians are so sort of like, it's psychologically so strange for you guys. Because your whole thing is getting up on stage every night, and there's literally no end in sight to this shit. I mean, you and I were just talking about that,
I mean, even if it just comes to just like interacting with people, this is weird.
Yes.
Yeah. I just want to interact with people and other than my girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just the psychological effect on all this. Like, I feel like we're also fighting not to get used to this.
Yes,
I think we're fighting for like, no, it's gonna be normal. No, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back, and then it's like, I don't know when that's gonna happen. So it just has this weird effect. But I've been telling people like, it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. Yeah, if you're upset, if you're depressed, if you have anxiety, it's best to just talk about it and like address it and just keep going. You know what I mean?
The other thing I think truly is that it's a leveler in the sense that it's actually the same. It's not the same experience for everyone, but the same thing is happening to every single person. And I think there's, as sad as that is, as frustrating as that is for every single person, knowing it's happening to everyone, somehow that takes the personal edge off. And I'm like, well, who the fuck am I to be complaining? Everybody's shut down right now.
Right.
And so it's so weird. Again, as you're saying, I don't want to get used to it, but I feel like we're all going to get used to it. and then it's going to end, and we're going to be like, wait, what do we do again?
What do we do? But I mean, the other day, my girl just started crying. She just was crying, and she was just like, I miss restaurants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like it was just a moment that I was like, oh yeah, there's probably a lot of people that like, whatever it is, it hits you. It hits everybody differently. It could be, I miss my mom. I miss whatever. I miss doing this. I miss doing that. And it just hits you, and you just go, because then you start to like go down a rabbit hole of like I miss restaurants. Will I ever be in a restaurant again? Like, when will it happen? You know, little thing, even if it's something stupid. Like I was like, I miss going to a sushi. I miss sitting down at a sushi restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, just like little stupid things like that. But anyways, not to be, we won't be all morbid the whole damn conversation. One thing I want to tell you is congratulations on your brother's special, because you directed it. And
dude, thank you.
Because I was looking at it, I watched it the other night, and I was like, I thought about you more than him.
Oh yeah,
because
that's a good way to do it. Yeah,
because I've seen his fucking bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably sick of that shit by now. Yeah,
I'm sick of his bullshit. But I did I was like, oh, nice choice. Good. It looked beautiful. You know,
thanks,
it looked
dude.
good. It was a great. That shot that was on him most of the time was a great full length shot. It was just framed well. There was a good shot coming up from the bottom there. The only thing that annoyed me about the special was he doesn't understand how X-Men powers work.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Tell us.
Professor X doesn't go, you know, he doesn't do that. It's so annoying. It fucking frustrates the shit out of me. I hate that.
You should start a whole Reddit page and be like, Chris D'Elia doesn't know shit about X-Men anonymously. Just blast him.
I don't have to be anonymous. I'll let his ass know. I used to hate also that he used to do this thing about Neo and how Neo's powers worked, and I was like, dude,
oh yeah,
that's not how the powers work. You know, he always called you such a nerd. But anyways, yeah, dude, like so, like you've directed a bunch of things, like so directing a special. How was that different? Like how was, you know,
the special was. So the idea the bigger idea that I had for the special, the overarching idea was that like I basically never wanted to not be looking at him. So my big first fight was like, I don't want any audience camera. Like I want to use the cameras we have. That's what that low angle shot was. That was going to be a floater in the audience. And I was like, I want to get that like hero shot of Chris. Yeah. But overall, the special was all of it. It was my first one. I had never directed a special before, but the way it differed almost in a 180 way from anything else was that everything is planning. Like everything for my job is like get everything in place. And then when it's going, it's all him. And we're just trying to capture it. You know what I mean?
So it's like a football coach.
Yeah, dude, exactly. You stick the cameras where you stick them and he's going to do what he's going to do. And you're like, it's not like you're going to direct him. He knows it better than I ever could. So like, it's just about like getting it, you know? And as you know, we do 2 shows and
did you edit also?
I didn't edit. The dude that did Rogan's last few cut ours. Carlos was his name, and he was great. But everybody, honestly, I don't want to say it was easy because nothing's easy, as you know. But everyone made the job so easy for me to just be like, "This is the shit I want," and everyone was like, "I feel like on jobs like that." Where you get veterans that are so locked into the shit that they do for this certain kind of thing that you're doing, that you're just like, and they're so business about it. They're just like, oh, that's what you want? Okay. And then the next day they got like a fucking previs of it. And I'm just like, I guess I'm fucking done. Like, that's all I got to do, you know? But, so it was a lot of that, you know, which is just kind of about hiring people.
Did you feel like you were overdoing it at first? Did you feel like,
at first I was completely like, well, these people all know what they're doing, so I'm going to shut up for a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like I didn't want to be the director. I didn't want everyone to be like, "Fuck this guy," because they all know the deal, and I'm a newcomer. Right. And I didn't want to be like, "All right, this is what we're going to do." I was like, I don't know how these are done. Like I know how they're done, but also I knew how movies were made before I ever made a movie. That doesn't mean I knew what I was doing. But you can know what a thing is from afar and still suck at doing it or be green or whatever the fuck, you know? I was just like, well, this dude's been a production designer for 30 years. These dudes have produced like 20 of these in the last 2 years. Like I'm going to lean on them. And then when it comes time to fucking start telling people what we want, what I want to be doing, then it's like, all right, but I didn't want to come in all blustery and get started on the wrong fucking page, you know?
I know. Have one of those like big group meetings like, okay, guys, this is what we're going to be doing today.
Yes.
I have a vision.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, isn't he just going to be telling jokes?
Isn't he just going to here's the thing a lot of directors, I think, don't understand. Everyone else is just going to work. So, like, I get that you have your big overarching vision, but that grip doesn't give a fucking shit about it. And so he has to like you. You know what I mean? He has to like what you're doing, and he has to like working for you. He doesn't need to care about what the fuck vision you have. It's just like you got to get people to really basically like you. That's why directing is like a people skills thing more than anything else.
Oh, that's so funny you say that. I feel the same way as a performer too, though. I feel the same way when I'm on
set.
No,
it's similar on. Right.
When I'm on set, I like to know the guys. I say, "What's up, sound?" You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's up, hair, makeup? You know,
that puts you in a. I feel like, in my experience, in a minority of actors who have empathy for what everyone else is doing too. Because I know so many actors who just like they're there. They think everyone's there for them. And like everyone's there to just sort of like make their job easier. And as you know, there's a whole spectrum of fucking asshole actors, you know. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a whole set of asshole everything, but I know what you mean. You know, I was doing this movie. I did this Netflix movie, and I was out in Boston, and it was like an hour outside of Boston, so it was an hour to get there. It was a whole thing, and then when we're there, it's these night shoots. The stars of the movie are kids, so there's hard outs. So you know, when there's kids, it's like what is that term they use for kids when they have to leave? There's a certain like phrase they say, but it's like a.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they can only work for like 6 hours, right? Not even how.
It was there was specific time they had to work. So like their crew was just they were just over it. So by the time, but I came to set and I looked around and I was like, oh my God, everybody, it's cold. So I was doing that thing where I'd be like, what's up, everybody?
Yeah.
It's like, you, what's up? Oh, you back? And then like, I always get a couple people to come up to me like, oh man, thanks for keeping the energy up. Thanks for keeping like, you know.
It makes such a fucking difference. It really does.
It does make a difference, man. You know, I got this funny story for you. Today, somebody tweeted at me. They said, oh man, you were in, they was like, oh, you were in Bad Therapy, man. Great job. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Sounds good, but I don't know what that is. Yeah.
So I look it up and I go, oh, wow. I did this movie like 3 years ago, and it was called something completely different. I didn't know what the movie was about because it was last minute, and it was like, here's your sides. It's like, you know, I didn't get the script, and I was like, and then I'm looking at the trailer like, this is what this is about?
Right.
And it just came out. I mean, it's such a weird business that like.
That's weird. I mean, that is weird for an actor. I think about that with actors, because actors, if you're trying to get a movie made, you could spend 10 years trying to make that thing. And then after you make it, 2 years, 3 years, sometimes 4 years, it comes out later. So you're with that thing the whole time. But I always think about this because it's not ever been my experience because I'm not an actor, but like, to think about an actor coming on, shooting something for like 2 weeks, whatever, they don't have any idea when they're going to be seeing that shit. And it could be, as you're saying, you could just forget what the fuck it is, you know?
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Because it's a different name. It's like Alicia Silverstone and Roy Caudry are and it's about, and it turns out it's like some kind of like really dark comedy that I didn't even realize it was. You know? Because my scenes are with these kids. I thought it was a kids movie, and it was like, anyways, but it's just like such a weird. But
did you see it? Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it. It just came out. So to me, it tells me that they don't think it's very good. That they didn't reach out. Yeah. They didn't reach out to any of the actors in the movie. Like, hey, this movie's coming out. Can you tweak? Can you like? No, it's just like it's just out.
Yeah, it's weird.
On demand. I know it's super weird.
Especially now, you should promote the shit out of it because not you, but they should be because. Yeah. It's like a time when everyone's sitting around. Yeah.
Everybody, no matter how good or bad it is, people are like, I'll watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
So I tweeted, I said, I think I'm in this movie.
I think I'm in this movie. I have no idea if it's good, but fuck it. Might as well watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the reason why I wanted to have you on, speaking of, to transition into that. It's like, I love talking about movies with you. And it's like, I mean, have you taken this time, you know, to like be like, reinvest in like watching movies? Have you caught up on movies? Are there movies that like, so like, are you watching? Let me ask you this. Are you watching guilty pleasures? Are you watching art piece movies? Are you watching it as a director to be like, oh, I've always wanted to see what they were doing?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to distract yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say it's the first two. So basically it would be like, my taste is generally like, I mean, we talked about a little bit about this last time, but like, I like really, really, really like good shit. Like whatever you want to fucking call it. Like I'm looking at like high end shit, but I either want to see that or like whatever's in the fucking gutter. And on top of that though, I don't think of it like this is a guilty pleasure, or rather it's so good. It's so bad. It's good. I'm like, this shitty TV movie from 1990 is just as good as fucking Full Metal Jacket or some shit, you know, because I'm liking it just as much. So regardless of how the fuck they ran into it, however they created a thing that I'm enjoying this much, that's commensurate with how good I think it is. So like the things that I enjoy though, and the things certainly that I've been diving into since all this shit started, is I've been rewatching particularly like some older like Brian De Palma movies, and I've been watching like some genuinely shitty TV movies from like the 80s and 90s, which are just
really
mind blowing. Yeah. Like
it's
what?
Like what have you been watching? Like give me an example of something.
Let me look up the name of this one actually, because it's with Kate Jackson and Ricky Schroeder. They're always like about
oh shit,
Ricky
Schroeder.
Yeah, dude,
that's old school.
Yeah, it's old school. They're always about like this one's called The Stranger Within. Okay, so it's A Stranger Within. This woman has her child kidnapped when he's really small, and then she's an adult. She's gonna get remarried. She has no kids, and then this teenager comes back and is like, "Hi, mom," and he proceeds to like terrorize the fucking shit out of her life. And it's like the most typical script, but the performances are like so insane. What I like about movies like that is that it's such a weird window into a time and place that I lived through but forget. Do you know what I mean? So I was a kid in the early 90s, and I wasn't fully formed enough yet to really understand like what the fucking vibe of the zeitgeist was. But when you watch something that was like popular in the time, but totally forgotten, you're like, holy shit, this is like a weird portal into what people thought was cool, what style was back in a certain time. Yeah. And you start to like put it in place or put it in perspective, like how shit got to where we are right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of interested in it from a distance as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because then you start looking at things as like, oh, this is almost a period piece. I mean, because we're in modern times.
Totally,
if you see something like, if you see anything 90s, like for me, it's like I was in high school. I graduated high school. I was going into college in 1990, right? So I'm looking at that and I'm like, but then you think for me, it's like, oh, whatever. But then you look and you go, oh shit, there was no cell phones. There was no this. There was no that. The cars were weird. The style was weird. The phone. And so sometimes you get lost into all that kind of stuff.
Dude, with the cell phone thing, I got to say, when anyone's writing something now, a contemporary thing, I always think about this. I always think about how it's more dramatic if cell phones didn't exist anymore, or didn't exist at all.
Right.
So when you watch something from another era, they're more likely to have insanely cool set pieces because it's harder to communicate. It's harder to warn someone from afar. It's harder to fucking get the cops or get someone else's attention. Yeah. So now when someone's stranded, you got to first hit they tried their cell phone thing. Whereas before it was like, they're fucked. You
right. I mean, there's no payphone. There's no. Yeah, because as an audience member, you're like, use your cell phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or you have to have some stupid thing where like the character never charges their cell phone.
Right.
So like you make reference to it in the first few scenes where it's like, oh, my phone is always dying. And then, then you got it. That's all you need for the rest of the movie.
Or you're going somewhere and it's like, there's no service out here. And that's all you need, Yeah. I mean, I've fucking done that. So, yeah.
My girl is watching, she watched the whole, how many seasons of Gossip Girl. Okay.
Oh my God. How is that?
I've never seen Gossip Girl.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Yeah.
I'm just going to say it's some of the most terrible. like there's a genre of hot people where that is the prerequisite to be on this show. The number one thing is you have to be extremely attractive and sexy.
Yeah.
Acting skill is like not even important at all. Like it's some of the worst like dialogue and situations going on, like a soap opera. And I'm looking at her and she's loving it, you know? And I just go, so it just made me realize, I was like, that's one of those ones you go, this could be a guilty pleasure.
Sure. Yeah, that for sure. Yeah.
But what I noticed, it was like in the beginning of cell phones. Cause that's another thing too. Like the early cell phones where it was like flip phones and like weird bulky, you know, or anytime they go like this, anytime they pull out an antenna.
Right. Pulling out the whole case.
Yeah.
With the cord. Yeah. The two piece.
So I don't know. I've been watching a lot of like weird television shows. Like
what have you been watching?
I really got into this Money Heist, man. This Spanish show that like
I saw an ad for that. I don't know anyone who's seen that. Is that great?
Dude, it's a world phenomenon, dude. They got this. So I just saw this little documentary thing about it because the seasons are over now that I just watched. There's 4 seasons on Netflix, but the show came out in Spain. First season, rave reviews, lots of viewership. Second season, it tanked.
Wow.
They canceled the show.
Okay.
Netflix bought it.
Love Netflix for that reason, dude.
Netflix bought it. And like the actors are talking about it, and none of them speak English, you know.
Right.
So the actors are talking, so they're showing you subtitle, whatever. And the actors are like, I went from like, 2,000 followers to like 50,000, and every day it was like now it's 1 million, 2 million, you know. And then it just became Then Netflix was like, hey, can you guys do another season?
Yeah.
It's just like Money Heist. It's just like a robbery, and the main guy is like this really nerdy. He's this nerdy guy. They call him the professor, and he's a genius, and he plans this elaborate robbery. And it's just, but the show is about like fighting against the system, and it's shot so beautifully. It's like they use like colors and like these like these certain settings to make the colors that they're wearing pop, and it's all emotional, and I don't know, but I watched all of it already, so it's like cliffhanger, and I'm just
Is it 2 seasons and they're making a third now?
No. They made them. Netflix gave them money to make because it was becoming
and that's already out now.
It's already out now.
Oh,
but there's like 4 or 5 seasons available. I think it's 4 seasons, but European, it'll be like 8, like 6 episode season or something like that. So yeah, but I've been watching that, and that's pretty good. I've enjoyed that. I love a good heist movie.
Yeah, I'm into the heist genre. The heist genre, I feel like, is kind of like in a little bit of a depression. Like I don't see that shit that much anymore.
Yeah,
I love those movies.
Yeah, I did.
And shows.
Yeah, like it's like Heat is one of a classic movie that I'm trying to.
Is fucking awesome. I watch that movie about once a year. I love Heat.
Oh, that's one of those movies that you watch. Okay, yeah. All right, so I would. That's what we're saying. We would recommend Heat. Yeah, I thought Heat was good, but there is a part of me that feels like Heat is a little overrated, just because of like it's like this is like the first time that those two guys had been on the screen again in many years, and so here they are, and they're supposed to be this like they're having this across the table, and it's supposed to be this like, oh wow, De Niro, Pacino, but I just I look back on it and I go, it was alright, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it, and one of the I think a big gamble that movie takes, and I think this might come down to taste, but like the one scene that they do have together in the movie, as you're saying, is so subdued, and you expect the absolute opposite. When you get Pacino and De Niro together, finally, for the first time ever, you're going to expect like this crazy epic acting thing. But the one scene they have together until the end, obviously, is like they're literally sitting at a table speaking quietly in public. Yeah. And it's kind of weird. It's bold. That's what kind of, I like that it's bold, but yeah, I mean, you can go either way with that shit.
Well, in juxtaposition to like probably one of the most epic action sequences in a movie, it's probably in the top, I would say it's a top 10 of a sequence of violent action in a movie the
big bank heist part in that shit.
Yeah, the big bank heist part. That was just such a,
Dude, they shot that right around the corner from me. Like I drive by with that because they shot that downtown, and like
downtown LA.
They just shut down the entire grid down here and just shot for like 2 weeks. It's the most like involved set piece. It's all like during the day and shit. It's so crazy. Yeah, I love that sequence.
When I see something like that, I always think of that too. I'm looking at something and I go, damn, how did they It's daylight out. How'd they shoot this? You know?
Yeah, that's just days and days and days and days. You know who actually references that a lot is Christopher Nolan. That sequence he points to as a big thing for the opening of The Dark Knight. That big heist sequence in The Dark Knight, which is fucking cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And also Inception too, because there's all that downtown LA shit in Inception as well. So yeah, he loves that shit. So I like seeing older movies sort of show up in newer movies, not like he's copying it, but like he's clearly saying, I'm using that as a jumping off point. And it turns into this thing where you can see the progression as movies go on. You know what I mean? I like that. And he's good at that.
Well, Nolan changed the genre. He changed the superhero genre completely. Totally. He flipped it on his head. It went from cartoony to what he turned it into, and and then the Dark Knight, because I think that movie went astray. You know, I'm not a huge fan of that movie, but the first hour,
I'm with you on that. Yeah,
the movie went astray, and it's because the guy died. You know, he died, and in post they had to change what the direction they were going in and what this was going to be about. But the opening sequence of that movie and establishing that character, that's some of the best superhero.
Yeah, the first hour of that movie is real good. I like it. Yeah.
You know, I don't count it as a DC movie because they're so shitty now. But that's
they're so shitty now. What's up? What's up with like? I don't see the movies anymore because it's so dumb looking. But I see the trailers. What are they doing? Let me close this. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, look how artsy he is, guys.
Yeah, dude. I painted that.
What, when you were 7?
I painted it to put in a movie, so I had an excuse to be that bad.
Oh, okay.
But
is that a paint by numbers? Is that a?
I did it like this. Wait, what the fuck were we just talking about?
How shitty the DC movies are?
The DC movies, yeah. Okay. I see the trailers for that movie, and it's, you know what it is? It's like Zack Snyder, but like 10 times worse than that. It's like taking that idea of that kind of style, that monochromatic, big set piece, big comic booky, whatever the fuck, green screen shit, and like just wiping their fucking ass with it. Those movies are so ugly. Like just to look at them, they're ugly.
You know, my problem with, I think DC messed up where they were trying to be like Marvel. So Marvel set a tone, but they set a tone with Iron Man. Okay, so they make Iron Man. They have one of the best actors of our generation playing this character, and he brought such life to it. Yeah. But in all the movies that came after that, where they were trying to combine them, not all of them were good, but they had a vision. Yeah. Yeah. You know, they had a vision and they stuck to it. And DC then was like, they're 8 years behind, and they said, well, we have to catch up. So let's and they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have tried to catch up. They should have just done their own thing.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I also think that the overarching style of what they've chosen, every movie looks like there's a weird monochromatic blue silver shit. Oh. And it's so like,
that's your director.
You have to like that. You have to like the way that looks to be like, I'm going to go see that. It's such a weirdly specific, I think, ugly choice. And so if they're all looking like that, it's like, why would I see one when literally every single one has this fucking style, like the Aquaman shit? I saw the trailer for that. I was like, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. You know? So yeah. So I don't see those movies either. Yeah.
Yeah, see that's not you're not like running out to the thing. I mean, I'm a big, but I will say this though. They where they made up for it a little bit is the DC Universe app.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the DC Universe app, because it's like, I would say it's the rated R branch of DC.
Really?
DC, yeah. You should. I recommend it, man. There's a show called Titans, and it's like it's a story of Robin. So Robin has left Batman, and he starts the Titans, but it's real dark. I'm talking about blood and gore and cursing and sex.
Really?
Yeah, it's like rated R Robin. And there's another show that I really love called Doom Patrol, and they tease it. They introduce it in Titans, and then they have a whole other series, and it's really good. Brendan Fraser's in it.
I gotta be honest. I love Brendan Fraser for real.
Well, you have to watch this.
I gotta watch it then.
He's playing a robot in the movie, so he has a mask on like he's a robot. But I mean, he's supposed to be a robot. But I know that he's wearing like a helmet. But like, and they show flashbacks of him. But he's really funny in it, and it's like really, again, it's dark and grimy. So
I wonder why they do it low key like that. Like, I guess they're trying to appeal to a broader audience with the bigger tentpole shit that's out in theaters.
Well, I believe that this DC universe, like I said, it's their rated R branch. So remember, it is comic books, and it's like they're trying to like hit that PG-13 crowd with their movies and stuff. But this is where they're like, well, let's be grimy, let's be Netflix, let's be what is it, like premium cable? So it would be like it would be considered premium cable. So, and it's it's not that expensive, if you're, and they have like a bunch of you can actually look at comic books, and they have some really great cartoons on there too.
So is that only on the app? Like, it's not on any other streaming platform?
It's only on the app. But the weird part is this is how I found out about it, actually. This is so weird. I was in Canada doing some shows, and I turn on Netflix and I see DC, I see Titans, and I was like, oh, this is great. So I start watching it, I get back to the States, it's not on Netflix.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so it's only internet. And Uncut Gems also was on Netflix up there at the time.
Really?
And so when what I did was, and luckily I did this, I downloaded Uncut Gems on Netflix so I could watch it on the plane, on the Netflix app. But when I got back to the States, it wouldn't let me view it. So all I had to do was turn the internet off, and then like I was able to, you know what I mean? But so then I was like, the DC thing's gone. I'm like, I haven't seen all the episodes. Then I looked around, I realized it's in the States, you have to have this DC Universe app.
That's so fucking weird, dude. I mean, I have a big problem with let me watch the thing I want to watch, and let it be streamlined. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, stop changing the shit. Stop like splintering off and making another streaming platform that I got to sign up for separate. It's like, I'm signed up for like 12 streaming things now.
Dude, I know.
And I forget about some of them, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have Shudder, and I love Shudder, but I forget about it because there's all these fucking other things. Dude, I've got to get into Shudder. I love fucking the old horror movies, dude. Got to get into them.
You got Shudder, guy. I watched this movie you're such an artsy fuck. That's why you have that.
It's gory horror shit. You might like it, dude. The horror shit. It's like they do originals too. Like, they make new movies that are kind of, I mean, they're low budget as fuck, but I'm into that shit. I'm into horror stuff,
How much is Shudder? Is that another $10, $9 a month, $7, $6? Is it like less than $7.90?
I think it's $7.99 a month. Yeah.
See, that's so. Yeah, I'm Netflix, Prime, Hulu, Marvel. I mean, Disney.
Yeah, Disney too. Yeah.
Apple TV.
I don't have the Disney one. How much is Disney? Do you know?
Yeah, but here's the thing about Disney, though, why it's worth it. So for like the $11.99 or $12.99, you get Hulu and Disney Plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you have Hulu and you don't have Disney, you're a fucking idiot. You're wasting your time.
I'm a fucking idiot.
You're a fucking idiot.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to fix that tonight.
Yeah, it'll just be $1 difference. You got to fix that to get your Disney Plus, because you got to watch Mandalorian. Mandalorian's good. Check out Mandalorian.
Yeah, I keep hearing that shit's good.
But my problem with Disney Plus is like, they haven't put out anything else.
Why is that? What's up? What are they doing?
They have I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me why they haven't put out their other. They supposedly have all these Marvel shows they made, and they're not putting them out, and I don't know why. Like, why
now of all time, they should be putting that shit out.
I don't know why they put this app out 7 months before, and they have us wait each week for Mandalorian. So once Mandalorian ended, you're like, okay, this is going to be great.
Yeah, right.
Nothing. There's a couple of good movies on there. There's a couple of good Disney family movies that are actually there's a one with a dog. I forgot the name of it, but it was actually really great. Like a good, like you cry at the end type of shit.
Yeah, Disney is the best at making me cry, dude. Any kind of fucking animated Disney movie, I'll be crying at the end.
Oh yeah, it's just this was a good one. I got a Togo. That's the name of that movie. Yeah, Togo's the name of the movie. It's really good. It's just one of those like Hell
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to, I have my list here. Like, there's just movies that like I want to go back and watch right now.
Yeah, tell me.
Like, I want to watch the Godfather series again. I love 1 and 2.
Hell yeah. My dad watches that shit he watches both the first two every Christmas. So I'll be over there, And he'll be like, the day after Christmas, he's like, "You staying today, Matt?" And I'm like, I guess I fucking have to. And I always say I'm not going to stay. And then by the time the night of the 26th rolls around, we're like wrapping up number 2 because I stayed. Those 2 movies, if you have like, again, it has to be like a day off like that. But now we all got fucking some days off.
6 hour experience.
Yeah, bang out the first 2. It's like, it's quite a fucking experience. I mean, the third one, as you know, is not quite up to snuff. But
I don't hate it. I don't hate
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
I don't hate it, but
it's just the first 2 are the first 2, you know?
Yeah. I think there was some story things in that one that I was like, what are you doing here? Yeah, but the first 2 is like that. I know I feel old because like it's like old people talk about The Godfather.
Yeah,
but it truly is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Of like cinematography, the story, acting. It's just like, so The Godfather is one of those I would recommend to people. I recommend A Shawshank Redemption to people.
It's been a while since I've seen that. I think about that movie quite a bit though. It's been a while though. Yeah,
but that's one of those man movies. But what's a movie to you that like you go, oh, I can watch that. Like I don't have that many that like if you go, you're gonna throw this on, and I'll be like, oh, yeah. Can't
you know what it is for me? The one movie that like I think that Casino is the most watchable movie. Honestly, I think Casino is the most watchable movie, and anytime it's on at any point throughout the movie, Goodfellas is like that too. I mean, there's similar movies, obviously, but those 2 movies to me, are like the ones that it's like, oh, that's on. I'll sit down and just watch to the fucking end, whatever point it's on. Like I'm in. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that I put all those movies in the same. They're unfortunately so similar.
Yeah.
You know, because he uses the same actors. He tells the same story. You know what I mean?
I know, yeah, and I love it. I can't get enough, but yeah, if you don't like that, then you're just like, all right, fuck it, yeah. But
no, that is a good one. Goodfellas and Casino. Those are, I guess those are some good. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of some other movies that are like that for me. If they're just on, I'll be like, oh, well, here we go. You know,
the comedy version of that is the Three Amigos. I'll always watch like from any point. I'm in. That fucking The Naked Gun, the first Naked Gun, I'm way the fuck in. I try to watch those older comedies that I loved as a kid, maybe once every couple of years too. Because I can't figure out if I'm still laughing just because I laughed so hard as a kid, or if that's still my sense of humor. But I laugh like a motherfucker, you know.
Yeah, for me, the one I like that is School of Rock.
Yeah, dude, I love School of Rock.
I don't care where School of Rock is in the story. If it comes on, I'm invested. And I'm just as excited when they do their final number as I am the first time I ever saw it. Like that that to me is like it's one of my favorite movies. And I can watch that at any point. So I'm down for it at any time, you know.
Him in general, Jack Black in general is like the most watchable person for me. Like that I feel like, did you see that movie Bernie that he's in?
No, I haven't seen it. Is that the one where he's getting fucked by the is that the one?
No, that's the D Train, which is fucking hilarious too.
That movie is so funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah. It's so good. And Bernie's the one where he plays that like funeral director. It's a comedy, but he plays this funeral director who befriends this old woman, and he ends up like, it's based on a true story, and she disappears and he gets accused of killing her. And it's this dark comedy, same director as School of Rock. And he's so fucking funny in it. I can't even believe how like, and it's the kind of thing where I see some Jack Black and I'm like, you come to value a performer when you realize like, what would this thing be if he wasn't in this thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean saying?
Yes. You know who else is like that? Bill Murray.
Yeah. Same shit. It's like, I can't even tell how good the movie is because you're so good that like you're confusing me basically. Like the movie's good just because you're in it almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Groundhog Day is one of those other ones that you could turn it on and I'll be like, oh, I know where we are in it. Let's go. Yeah. You know? Groundhog Day is one of those.
Do you remember that movie Alive? That movie about the Chilean soccer team?
Yes.
So that movie and Groundhog Day came out on the same day. I remember this like fucking night and day. In 1992, it must have been. Maybe 1993. I think it was 92. And the morbid little fuck that I was, my family and I were all going to go see a movie. And I was like, we got to see Alive. And my parents were like, are you out of your fucking mind? You're 8 years old. We're not going to take you to see Alive about people who ate each other, a true story about people who eat each other. And everyone I got voted against, and everyone, my brother and my parents wanted to see Groundhog Day. And I was just so pissed. I was like being a little shitty kid. And we went, and I'll never forget it for this reason, but we went and I like died. Like I pissed my pants laughing. I was, and I was so happy that I was convinced to not see it. And so I have an extra fond memory, but now every time I watch it, that movie specifically stands out to me as like just actually one of the best comedies ever made.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just like but his personality, like it's like who else could play that? I don't know if it would have been the same movie. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just his like smart ass remarks and how he deals with people really makes it what it is. That's why Scrooged is another one.
Scrooge is like that. Yeah,
it's another one. You need Bill Murray. It's funny that story you said. I have a funny story like that too. When I was a kid, my mom, she had one of her friends. They wanted to go to. My mom wanted to go to a movie with one of her friends, and she was like, "You're coming with us because I'm a little kid. I can't stay home." And she wants to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Hell yeah!
And I was like, I don't want to see no dumbass Raiders of the Lost Ark. What is this stupid movie? I was like, this is gonna be stupid, man. When I got home, dude, I wanted a whip. I wanted a leather jacket. I wanted a hat, and I was running around the house. Dun, 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 dun. And just every time we got into the car, I would be like, dun, 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 dun,
I still do that. Yeah. I mean, every kid wanted that whip. Every boy wanted that whip, dude.
Yeah, that's just one of the I used to when I was younger and I'd get on a plane. Anytime we're taking off in a plane, that song would be in my head to make me not worry. I'd just be like, she's running, it'd be like the climax. Dun, 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 I just yeah, man. Harrison Ford. Shit, we could have a whole podcast about Harrison Ford movies, man.
That fucking friend. Which is your favorite? Which is your favorite Indiana Jones movie?
My favorite Indiana Jones. Oh, that's tough, man.
For me, it's Temple of Doom. It's Temple of Doom.
I was. You know what? I get you. Temple, like that's a solid choice. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a solid choice, but I think that it's 1A, 1B with the first one and the second one. You know?
Yeah.
Because the original Raiders of the Lost Ark is it's just such a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit on the plane, that crazy sequence on the plane when he's off the wing, on the wing, and spinning around and shit.
Or just like every fight that when the plane is turning and they're trying to escape, just every fight. Yeah, so that's a solid. And then it just goes off the rails. Like part 3 is like, why did they?
What was the name of 3 again? What was that one called?
Oh man,
The Last Crusade, right? Yeah, I don't even remember that one.
That was the one where they were chasing the ark, not the ark, but the chalice, the mug of Christ, the whatever.
Oh, and he drinks it, and then he fucking
heals, I mean, it was cool to have Sean Connery as his father. I thought they had a great chemistry.
I do remember that one. Yeah.
And there was a lot of great action sequences, but it just seemed like a retread of the first two. Let's take elements from the first one, take elements from the second one, and then we'll put it here. You know, so the 1 and 2 are always the best.
And then number 4 is another fucking story of bad. That shit sucks. The Crystal Skull or whatever. No. What is it called? Crystal Skull, right?
Where they added aliens, And
Shia's in it. You got Shia LaBeouf
just being terrible.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah, not for him. That's not the right movie for him.
It wasn't the right movie for him. What I loved about part 2 is that was the last time that was one of the last movies that that wasn't the last movie, but River Phoenix is in that playing the young Indiana Jones.
Oh right, dude. Whoa.
And he was great.
He was amazing.
It was great to the point where you thought maybe they're gonna young Indiana Jones are going to make a series, but I don't know whatever happened with that. But any of those movies, if they come on, I'll watch it, even if I'm hate watching,
Right. Yeah. I mean, the third one, I actually want to watch the third one again. Maybe I'll do that because I don't remember it well enough, like the first two. But I saw them all so many times when I was a fucking kid.
It's good. It's got all the elements, man. It's got all of the Indiana Jones elements. It's just you just go, it's just not as good as those other two.
Is that the one where he's like going through that kind of maze thing at the end, and he has to take the leap and jump on that thing that's going this way, that way? Okay, I remember that shit.
Yeah. No, it was like what it was. It was it was a leap of faith, but it was just like
Yes.
it was just the bridge was camouflaged with the other side.
Yeah,
And
dude.
supposedly you couldn't see it, but he threw the sand out and it was like, oh, there it is. You know what I mean?
I loved that. I loved that so much as a kid, dude. Damn.
I'm into movies like that, but there's sometimes I don't like when a movie like Indiana Jones is like, here's a character who's larger than life, but believable that this could be a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And when they add magic to things, I don't like that. Because then you go, oh, now you didn't tell me that I was watching a science fiction movie. Like,
Okay.
I need to know. It was my problem with the show Lost.
Right. Okay. So when you say magic, though, you mean like the writer is just making up some bullshit to be able to do the thing that he wanted to do, or do you mean something specific by magic, like actual magic in the world?
Yes.
Oh,
when you make it like even at the end when you open up the Ark of the Covenant and this ghosts come in. So now so in this universe now you're saying that in your universe there's real power. God is doing something specific, or the devil is doing then it changes. To me, it's a different movie. There's a different. It's not. There's something unrealistic about it. But I'm fine with that kind of stuff. But don't go this far into the movie, and then all of a sudden now this happens. That's just my personal thing. I don't like that.
I actually agree with you about that. Honestly, I agree with you about that because I don't like when movies set up. Because every movie sets up its own rules. That's part of being any kind of good movie. Like you have to set the world, and so the audience knows what they're dealing with.
Yes.
So if by the end or at the end there's just some different world that the rules of the world you've been watching are totally broken, that shit is a big pet peeve for me. Yeah.
Dude, I don't care what it like. I remember even watching the show. I remember watching Dreamgirls, the new one.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was a musical. I know that seems crazy, but I didn't know that the movie itself was going to be a musical. And what I mean by that is, motherfuckers are just going to start singing and music comes on.
Breaking the song.
Breaking the song.
In real life. Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah.
So I'm talking 35 minutes into the movie is when they sung their first song.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, this a musical? Because before that, they were singing, but they were singing like there was a microphone and people were singing.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know that you could just right now I could be like, and we're on a podcast.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm gonna do that in my next movie, but only at the very end. I'm gonna have everybody break into song. There'll be like a bloodbath, and then everybody just suddenly has a fucking big song and dance number. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, I have a problem when, but that's my only thing about the Indiana Jones movies. But I get that, you suspend your disbelief after the first one because the Ark of the Covenant thing, and then then when you go to the Last Crusade and then they made the what do you call it, the voodoo reel, what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all about how you present it, but I just I don't like if you're a science fiction movie, be a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
And I said I don't know if you were into Lost, that show Lost.
I was into it until I couldn't watch it anymore because I was like, they're just making some shit up now, huh? Like, they're just going to be like...
See, this is... Okay, let me tell you the moment Lost me. No pun intended. Was the black smoke.
God, I don't know if I remember that. What season is that?
I don't even remember what season it was, but all I know is, up to this point, everything that was happening on that island could happen.
Right, okay.
And then when they had this magic black smoke that was monster thing, I was like,
oh wait, I do remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so this is now it's a science fiction show. And so now that it's a science fiction show, in your brain you go, anything is possible. Setting up rules is so important. This is about storytelling. You as a director and writer, you understand. It's if you have Superman. Okay, we've established he can fly. He's impenetrable. He can X-ray vision. He can see through. And kryptonite hurts him. So now that he's established in the world, anything that's involved with him or around him could be like that.
Yeah,
so you have to set up. And when you just go something out of nowhere, even in I don't want to see vampires in the fucking Superman world. Just all of a sudden, or it has to be explained. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
No, I mean, I think I agree in that, you don't, it's like getting the rug pulled out from under you. And honestly, sometimes this is why I sometimes don't even like twists, because sometimes twists end up making you think of the whole movie differently. And you're like, well, now I have to fucking watch this motherfucker again. You know what I mean? Like, you just put it in a different genre now. You know what I mean? And so now I got to fucking rewatch this shit. Obviously, there's the good version of a twist, like Sixth Sense or some shit. But
I was thinking that's exactly what I was thinking. That's funny.
Yeah, like that's the good shit. But every once in a while, there'll be a twist, and I'm like, you just made this movie a different genre in the last 2 minutes. You know what I mean? It can be a little tricky. Is there any, speaking of genres, are there genres that you just can't deal with? Like, you can't watch certain genres?
Any like Jane Austen type of old timey, where it's big dresses and dramatic. But I shouldn't even say that because
costume
dramas. Costume dramas. I'm out. But even after saying that, though, the Favorite that came out, that was great.
Yeah.
So I guess it has to be good. But like sometimes the way it's advertised, it doesn't draw me in.
Yeah.
When it's like I'm tired of the Queen of England. Like I'm tired of another movie or show about Queen Elizabeth.
It's pretty unbelievable how many there are.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, how many of these fucking movies are gonna come out about Queen Elizabeth? Yeah. So like, I'm out on those. Yeah. At this point now. But that's the one genre like that.
The Queen Elizabeth genre, I agree. That's the genre I ain't going anywhere fucking near that shit. Yeah.
It's like we know this story. It's like, but some, what's funny about that though? I would say like because. The repeating, maybe that's a new genre we're making up. Like when you repeat the same story genre, it's like how many Batmans are they gonna make?
Yeah.
Like how many times are we
gonna? Yeah.
How many times are we gonna know that Batman is Batman because his parents were shot in an alley?
Dude, if I have to see that one more fucking time.
One more fucking time, dude.
It was a Joker, dude.
And by the way, I told you about this. I told you what I felt my problem is with Joker is that Joaquin Phoenix is 55.
Is he that old? Holy shit.
Yeah. Let me let me get the correct age.
I mean, I believe you. I just didn't.
I don't know. I want to make sure. How old is Joaquin? Here we go. Joaquin Phoenix. Here we go. He's 45. Okay, he's 45. All right, so he's 45. Even still.
Yeah, okay.
If he's 45, Batman in this movie is 10.
Mm-hmm.
By the time he becomes Batman, in 25 years, okay, because Batman's he's in his 30s by the time he's like really Batman.
Yeah, I guess you're right. What, yeah,
Joker's gonna be 70.
Joker's just gonna have a cane and shit.
Yeah, so it's just like I couldn't get past that. So, but I understood why they did it. It's because what a great symmetry that when the Joker becomes the Joker in the chaos he created Batman, his arch nemesis. Yeah. I get that, but you can't do that with a 45-year-old dude.
You can't just bend the entire narrative for that one thing. Yeah.
And it's fine as a standalone movie, but they made so much money. They're like, let's make another one. So now you have to explain to me how the fuck this happens.
That's a good point. I honestly didn't even get that far because when I was watching it, first of all, the way I think about that movie is kind of similar to the Jack Black shit I was talking about, because Joaquin is so fucking good in it that I'm just like, I don't know what I even think about this fucking movie because this dude's like putting on a one-man show. But the thing that I had the biggest problem with is that I had to see Batman, the Wayne parents, fucking die again, dude.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. I was like, that's one of those story plots that I go, no.
No, dude. It's too many times. We all know it. If we're all seeing a Batman movie, we know that shit.
Like, let me see Batman in college. I want to see Batman college years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where are those? Where the fuck was he when he was in the late teens?
Because you know what's crazy about it is because Batman's brilliant. The thing that they don't emphasize enough about him is like he's like a Sherlock Holmes level detective.
Mm.
He's a brilliant, smart dude. And they're not showcasing that, and it's like, what's going on?
Have we ever seen him at that age in any Batman thing? Never, right?
Yes,
either as a kid or already Batman. Yeah,
it's like Jesus. He's in the manger, and then he's 33.
Jesus Batman.
You know what I mean? So it's like, so that's a kind of, so that's one of those type of, I don't know if that's a genre, but anytime they're like retelling the same story over and over again, I'm just kind of like, there's like,
I feel like that's more and more a thing now. What?
Robin Hood is another one.
That's unbelievable to me that keeps getting the same treatment, because that just sucks. That is just not good. The Robin of Loxley shit, where they're wearing the fucking pouches and shit and shooting bow and arrows. It's nobody even wants to see that shit anymore. You know?
Yeah, it's like what's going on here? Another Robin Hood.
They had the Russell Crowe one.
Yeah, the Russell Crowe one.
They had a TV show after that.
Then they had the Jamie Foxx one. Did you see that? Where Jamie Foxx is like,
God, I forgot about that.
He wasn't Robin Hood, but it's like, listen. What's really wrong with the movie business in the United States is that it sucks that there's like such a racial element is always present.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just terrible. But it is what it is. Like if you're doing any kind of period piece, if you're doing any type of period piece, and you're talking about it's in the United States and it's between 1930 to 1970, if you're not addressing racism in your movie, it's not realistic.
Right, yeah.
And I hate that that's a fact. I hate that that's a thing,
Yeah, I mean, it's also true of like fucking, I remember I was reading something, this is a while ago. It might have been like when Hamilton was becoming a big hit, and they were talking about why like Revolutionary era movies about America don't get made that much. And it's because no one wants to present that shit the way it really was.
Yeah.
No studio wants to fucking finance a $50 million movie and see that shit. And that I get, but it's like, at what point are we just telling a lie by ignoring it? Like, if you're going to ignore it, that's even worse than recognizing the touchiness of the subject. Do you know what I mean?
But some things just don't need to get made too, though.
Well, that's definitely true. Yeah.
It's like you don't see a lot of Hitler movies.
You see some Hitler movies, though.
Recently, yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's being referenced in movies.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about you don't see like Hitler. Like that's the name of the movie.
Hitler, the show, yeah. Hitler, the TV show, yeah.
Or just like or like the 3-hour like biopic. At a certain point, you go, okay, this is like, but it's the same thing. Like if you're doing, it must be the same thing in the German movie business.
Have you seen that movie, Downfall? About Hitler's like last couple days in his bunker, like losing his shit.
No,
dude, I think it's a German movie. It's called Downfall, and the dude in it, this actor Bruno Ganz, who's fucking rad. He's in a ton of like Hollywood shit too, but he plays Hitler. You know that clip that was going around where Hitler was like pointing at a map and yelling at everybody, and people would like change the subtitles. They make it about the New York Giants losing. That's that movie. That's what that movie's from. Yeah. That's Downfall. But that's the only one I can think of about Hitler. Yeah.
By the way, there is a good TV show. Have you seen Hunters on Amazon? Al Pacino.
I keep being recommended that show. I haven't seen it yet.
It's good, and there's a Hitler twist.
Oh shit! I'm down for a Hitler twist.
That's I really appreciate Pacino in the last 5 to 7 years. Like,
yeah,
he was in movies where he was like playing a character of himself.
Oh yeah,
like he was like doing it, like he was doing an impression of Pacino.
Yep, 100%.
Like there was that one movie about like he was a CIA trainer.
The Recruit. I know that.
Terrible.
Movie. So bad, dude.
And he was and like the fact in the end of the movie that he would never, for $250,000, he would never turn on the government. It just wasn't believable.
Right.
But anyways,
right.
Regardless, I hate when they do that kind of stuff. Like you set up who this character is. Don't make that guy the bad guy, because or you have to give him. You can't do like an Anakin Skywalker turn. 1 second you're a hero and the next second you're killing kids.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't believe you. But Pacino in the last, like, he's done some great work, like playing these characters. Playing these bio pieces, and so
I think he's my favorite actor ever. If I had to pick one,
really? Oh wow,
yeah,
favorite actor ever.
I love him because of what you're saying, because he kind of refound his path, but also just the amount of amazing shit he was in the 60s and 70s and even the 80s is just like. 90s too. I mean, Heat was 90s. I love him in that. Yeah. And
That was towards the end. That one was towards the end. That was towards. I think that was towards the end of his. Like 100%. He was great, and then it was just started to like,
yeah. And then 2000s was like, holy shit, what is he doing? But now he's come back around. Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you who my favorite actor. I probably have a list of people who I think are like really tremendous actors. It's hard to say. I think I think you just go like if you think about sports, you go Larry Bird was great from 82 to 86. Right. Those seasons were one of the greatest seasons ever. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think Leo DiCaprio's been pretty great in some things.
I love him.
And then you know what I mean? You could look at him and go like, oh, but he had a stretch of some really great performances. And then it's like, no. Then you have, I don't know. It's hard to say. Does it have to be someone like that? And then of course you got like Daniel Day-Lewis, that fucking maniac. He's a certifiable crazy person. To be able to do what he does, you have to be like how does he live? I don't know how he must live.
So I have a story about him. I was on a location scout in Texas, and the scout had just worked on There Will Be Blood. So this was a while ago, and her boyfriend was driving him to set and back to his hotel every single day and night, and they were shooting out in the middle of fucking nowhere. So he's staying at his hotel. It's like a 25-minute car ride out to the middle of nowhere to shoot those oil derrick things. And this car full of kids, this is in Texas, a car full of kids cut off their car. And he's in the back, but he's like Daniel Plainview. Yeah, he's like
still in character.
Yeah. And so he's like, follow that. Like, follow those fucking shitty little kids. So he goes and they go to this gas station, and the guy driving is like, I don't know how to say no to Daniel Day-Lewis,
Yeah.
And
by the way, it wasn't Daniel Day-Lewis.
Right. Yeah. No. Exactly. I don't know how to say no to Daniel Plainview. So Daniel Plainview gets out of the car, and the guy's like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, is this going to be bad? And he gets right up to this Daniel Day-Lewis as another guy in the middle of nowhere in Texas, yelling at teenagers for cutting off his car. And it's just like, that kind of shit is truly next level maniacal.
Next level. It's maniacal.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder.
Right.
He was making fun of that.
Right. That. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You know
what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
It's like I saw, like, every time he gets nominated for an Oscar, and what's her name? Not Glenn Close. What's her name? The greatest actress ever.
Meryl Streep.
Anytime like they're at the Oscars together, like, stop fucking acting like you're not gonna win this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're gonna win no matter what if they get nominated.
Yeah, man. You probably liked what was that one he was in? He was a tailor. Something Thread.
Oh, Phantom Thread.
I
did like that. Yeah,
of course.
I mean, it was a little bit
pretentious.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit like just too. I don't know. I found myself sort of disengaging, but he's amazing in it. And so go ahead.
But I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is what I'm trying to bring up to you, because you've mentioned this a few times, like how Bill Murray is, Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker. Daniel Day-Lewis in some of his movies. What my problem is, when somebody is that great and that distracting from what's going on, I think that that's what it is. It can be distracting. Like sometimes somebody's so great at what they're doing, maybe everything around it is not up to that level, so that stands out to the point where it's like actually distracting. If that makes sense.
When that character leaves the screen, even if it's just a shot of someone else in the same scene as that actor, it can be, there's such a gulf between the quality of when the person's on screen and when they're not, that you're just like, it's discombobulating, because you're like, when that guy's on the screen, I'm so entertained. He could be talking about fucking cereal. I don't give a fuck. And then when anything else is happening, I'm like, when the fuck can I get the hell out of here? You know
but it kind of reminds me of, like, you ever see like kids out on a basketball court, like, and then there's an NBA player who's standing there with them.
Right, yeah.
And then the kids are like doing it, and the NBA player like swats the ball. You kind of go, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, go home, yeah.
Like get, moved. Like, what I'm saying is, it could be that person's fault, even though they're so skilled.
Yeah,
and
he's like not
point,
playing ball, basically. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
at a certain point, it's not meshing with what's going on in this environment.
That's
in this
true,
scene.
actually. Yeah.
So I don't know. But listen, dude, it's been an hour. You know that? You didn't.
Dude, time flies when I'm talking to Erik Griffin. Fucking shit, man.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you. I know. Listen, man, I do appreciate you doing this, and I'm just like I said, I'm just trying to put out content. But it's not just that. I also want to take time to like reach out to people that I like and care about, and like just have a conversation and just like show people out there that like, you know, hey, we're normal too. We're feeling the same things that you're feeling, and we're still trying to stay connected. And it's just like, you know, it's important. I think it's an important thing to do, to keep doing what we do. You're still doing your podcast. What's the name of your podcast for everybody?
Matt is confused.
Matt is confused.
Hell yeah.
So make sure you guys check that out. You're still doing your podcast. I know a couple times you said, man, I got to do a solo episode, and we're both doing that, and I'm trying to do it like this. I mean, it's not the same. It's better when you're in person, but I'm trying to make it as the same as possible. But you know what I mean. So
yeah, dude. Well, this is fun. I couldn't agree more, man. I appreciate you reaching out, and it's always fun talking shit with you, especially about movies. And yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Like maybe we'll have it more organized. But because we can just start talking about this.
Maybe we'll watch some shit. And
that's exactly what we're gonna do. What I'm gonna do is like actually right now, guys that are still looking at this in the comments right now, like give us like some movies that you think we should watch, and then we'll also come up with some movies, and then maybe we'll even tell people like, yo, watch these movies, and then these are the movies we're going to talk about, and then we'll have a specific rundown of like specific movies. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. But you listen, man. Stay safe. Hit me up anytime, and I appreciate you doing this. And we will talk very soon.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, you too, man.